and welcome back to VALORANTing. I do want to cuss. I personally think that is fucking bullshit. What can I do for you? What can I do for you? This is the best produced podcast I've ever been. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to VALORANTing. I'm WTFmoses, joined by Matt and Velly, and we have a very exciting and packed show. Get comfortable because we have a lot of First Strike to unpack. Matt, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm surprised Velly decided to join us again. I thought Velly was done with us, Moses. I thought we were over with Velly.
No, I miss you guys, man. What's up, Matt? What's up, Moses? How you feeling, man? No what? You always ask us how we're feeling. How are you feeling?
Yeah, how do you feel, Moses?
I'm not entirely sure how I feel. I was actually just tabbed into the World of Warcraft there for a couple of seconds. What were you guys talking about?
Oh, we were talking about First Strike.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
yes, yeah.
Velly was unpacking his buckets of money from the First Strike event.
True.
Yeah.
Wait,
true.
people got paid? What is that? No.
Well, yeah. Hopefully their payment system wasn't handled by Trovo. So obviously First Strike was a huge part of the weekend, and we have lots to talk about there. But before we do that, it's time to talk about, as we do every week, the things that happen on Tuesday, which is DevComs and patch notes. This time around, we do have patch notes. So this is 1.14. Sova got a little bit of it, or not Sova, Sage got a little bit of an update around her barrier. Basically, this is like the least amount of buff that they were willing to give Sage, even though people kind of feel like she maybe needs one again, considering how strong she used to be. So basically, the only change here is once fortified, the barrier can no longer lose health over time, but it will deteriorate a few seconds before it expires. So not really a change there, other than it might make it a little bit harder to just walk up to an old wall and wait it out. But that's it. That's the only fucking agent change we got.
Yeah. This is more of the big things, I think.
Yeah.
The stuff with Icebox just make feet of the map disappear. I'm happy though it's done. The verticality on this map was just way too much. This brings it a little bit more in line though.
I think so too. I mean, the big conversation around this map was verticality and just some of the changes and making some of the corners less drastic. I think is important.
Is that a box or like a half box? Like what is that? What is that? Can we get a look at that again? Like what is the
big?
We have the standard boxes, except we just buried them in the ground.
I mean, at that point, just get rid of the box altogether, right?
What's the point?
No,
of it?
I think you need I think you need a little hop, skip, jump to get onto that little thing there. Or maybe if you're Jet or something, they're trying to get you onto that little mid box. I think maybe.
Yeah,
they're really trying hard to hold on to the verticality. It feels like, but at the same time, they're recognizing maybe it's just a little too vertical. You know, they're just reducing heights overall with various box related fixes.
No, it adds height because look at the yellow box. You can stage wall or jet up on there now. Like,
oh, that's just so. Does the map lose its like? It like what?
Thing?
Yeah, like does it lose its kind of like? I mean, you don't want to say gimmick, right? Like no map is made with a gimmick, but like it was the verticality for this map. I mean, yeah, they left the ice in. It's still snowy, but like
there are still boxes.
There's a lot of height still.
There is still a lot of height, I guess. Yeah, when you think about it, I guess it just kind of makes it more palatable for players, I guess.
Yes, and they're making it to where it's not a luxury to get a lot of height now. Now you have to use your abilities to afford that luxury. So, I mean, I get it, but they still need to fix that B-bomb site. It's just way too open at this point.
I think that they got the feedback, and it was clear how it came in. Like, yeah, players are saying that the verticality is an issue. And then the map designer's like, well, what does that mean? They're like, yeah, well, what they're saying is that it's verticality is the issue. And then they just walk out of the room, and the map designers are like, okay. It's like, let's make a couple of things shorter and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's Icebox, right? Do you think this is going to affect the way the map plays, Matt?
I think so, like slightly. I don't think these are like big enough changes. Like this just I think this is just trying to take it down from like an alarming level to like we're accepting of this map. Yeah, that's kind of my gut on it. I don't think this is gonna like turn players from hating it to loving it. I think
Yeah.
this will take them from like hating it to they'll deal with it. I don't know if this kind of pushes the needle though to push it towards like, hey, we really like this map, we find it good.
Yeah, I think that I think that the map overall it's like the split treatment. It's going to get these little tweaks until it gets to a point where the not the complaints stop, because obviously that'll never happen when it comes to a specific map, but just it kind of takes some of the heat off of old Icebox, to use a little pun there for you.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think that it's going to take some time to figure out. Maybe more boxes will be chopped up. We have some mode updates. There's some snowball fighting happening. The limited mode goes live on December 15th and will last for 2 weeks until the 29th. So it's basically like the 5v5 deathmatch, except you have a snowball launcher now, which is pretty sweet.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
it's just a
fun.
little fun holiday mode.
She need a battle royale now.
Yeah, well, you know what? 2021 is not that far away, my friend. We'll see what happens down the road. Like it was supposed. Like, was there not a time where we thought Valorant was going to be a BR?
Wait, I saw a rumor about that.
Yeah, every game
Not
was
too long
supposed to
ago.
be. Everybody was supposed to
Every
have a
game
BR
that
by
was
now.
slated or announced in 2018 or 2019 was like, doesn't have a battle royale mode.
But don't get me started on that, because I was just about to bring up. I was like, the only game that wasn't going to do it was Halo, which would have been the best battle royale to
Oh my
actually have.
God,
But I mean
yes.
that's a whole nother conversation to have. But these holiday game
They
modes
would need
are
to
fun.
release a Halo game for that to be a reality.
A good one.
2021.
Anytime now. Well, we had a global pandemic. Let me tell you, that was definitely the reason, not because that graphics we released looked like 1997. Act rank badge display has been re-enabled on in-game player cards. Some performance improvements are there. You got a career page now. Well, it's been updated. You always had a career page. We got some store updates. We got some social updates. That's enough. We have more things to talk about. Let's talk about our favorite. What is our favorite new streamer? Our favorite emerging Valorant streamer.
Oh,
Who is your favorite emerging play Valorant streamer? Do we have nominees?
well, I mean, I think there's a list that you can vote for, but I would have said Sideshow Gaming potentially.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah,
He
was he
is
on the list?
phenomenal.
Then auto vote.
He's
Auto vote for
not on the
Sideshow.
list.
Oh,
What?
he's not. Okay. never
No.
mind.
But I would, if I could write in anybody, I probably would have written in Josh's name, being he does a lot of great Valorant work.
Did we have a list somewhere, Daniel? Are you telling me to go to Do Not Peak Entertainment?
By the way.
We don't have a list of the people? Oh, you can vote for you can vote for DN Peak as well. Do we don't have a list? Because I would like to look at the list. That's okay. One day. Someone give me a name off the list here real quick. Mr. Egg.
I'll find you a list.
So when they say emerging, do they mean like people that weren't big in the past and are just now rising?
Only Valorant people, maybe, I guess. I mean, it's the Game Awards. We've teamed up with Riot Games. Like, this is just one of those, like, maybe we're gonna pluck an obscure streamer out just to be like, hey, look, we
look at one of our big streamers for our games.
So here's the 11 ones in contention.
Okay.
Breeze, who is Brazil.
Is Jonas on the list? Average Jonas?
No.
Really?
You have Knights, who's Brazilian. Lego on screen, who's UK. Jonas is on the list. Sorry, I just
okay. Jonas wins.
Jonas is on the list. Flights, Jessica Kim, Klufel, Ethan Bernard, and Iridium.
On screen, how do I say this? On screen, I don't know them as a creator, but a lot of these guys, not a lot. I'm just gonna talk about on screen, but shout out to the dude who was like one of the 10 UK people who got access to the Valorant beta. And his channel, because he was awake in the time where none of the other NA creators were awake, his channel went through the roof. He had 25,000 viewers up from 500 or something like that. It was crazy, dude. Like he went from like mid-sized decent creator, like full-time creator, probably still on his way to like huge Valorant creator based on the
Overnight.
beta, which I think
Yeah.
a lot of people had like shit, even Dan Gaskin had access to the beta back in the
Yeah.
day. Yeah. So yeah, shout out to Jonas and of course on screen who have made the best of it. We'll talk more about Jonas later when we're watching him sing like an angel. So we also have WWFest, which I think that someone let the ad execs into the investors room again because I don't know what this is, but it looks
Yeah.
interesting at the very least. So we've got music, gaming, January, Germany, world, art. We have Korea, Japan,
DJs.
video games, drones, video games, music and art, dancing, music.
This
art,
could be cool
global.
though.
Hosted in an
arena.
arena.
Yeah, hosted in. Sure.
Arm and
Yeah.
Hammer, whipped cream. We stay tuned for more artists and drones. We have more drones and an empty arena. Mark, days, calendar, multiple languages, lights, music,
Hosted
Valor.
I
in an
believe
arena.
I believe the Crown Gaming the Crown channel is owned by Twitch. I believe that
Oh.
is it's like it's a Twitch property that they're kind of using to do more, I guess, like own individual content.
It's the budget review part of the year, and all the departments are like looking through like if we don't spend this budget, they're gonna take it away from us.
Well,
so
I
what do
mean,
we?
yeah, and Riot works pretty close with Twitch, like with a lot of stuff like
Yeah.
Prime Gaming and whatnot. So yeah, Crown Channel's entertainment and gaming from Amazon on Twitch. So this is
Hold on,
probably
pause.
one of their
Look at this. Each hour of the 6-hour show will feature creative elements that channel the personality and vibe of each agent. Question, Matt, since I cut you off, what
Yep.
is the vibe of Killjoy? Would you say what is her vibe? Like EDM,
Ooh.
German lady, or like what is the vibe?
I don't know.
Get a vibe check.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, this is like, I guess, what you kind of pair a DJ up with an agent, and you create kind of like a playlist for each individual agent. I guess that's kind of where you would go with this, but it has potential to be kind of cool because some of these like digital concerts and music festivals have been quite dope, but it also
I like
has the
music
potential to go the other way, where
Right.
it's kind of not great.
I just like them.
DJ Khaled.
I love marketing stuff, and I love like watching what is people who are not maybe not endemic to gaming. I'm not trying to say that this is not going to be a success of an event, but when I see something like this, the first thing I think of is Dead Mouse at the International. That's what I think of.
Yeah.
You remember that? Remember ever watch the Dead Mouse performance at the
see it.
International where the
Yeah.
entire crowd was like completely uninterested in the fact
No,
that there
no,
was
no.
like a world-class DJ?
So it's
That-
hard, man, to get like because a video game esports crowd isn't really the type of crowd that like kind of has like a big kind of concert vibe. Like when I go to esports events, I don't go to get like a concert. I go to
dance.
watch the event. So like
You go to talk to the people that are there.
yeah, and there's nothing kind of like I mean, it's something like being like kind of forced to be at a concert, like live. Like, I'm sure we've all gone to concerts we didn't really want to go to, and you're just kind of there because you just end up there, or you just don't feel it. You're just kind of standing there, like waiting for it to end.
Yeah.
For the next
which-
match to start,
or yeah, the
whatever.
next match to start. So like picking and like having music before the events is like one of the harder things to get right if you can even get it right.
Right.
I think
So-
that it's impossible to get right though because like DJ Khaled was bumping. I was at the Overwatch 5
Dude, it was
Oh,
dope. I
yeah.
thought it was
but
dope.
the thing is, we were everyone else is just sitting there like, who the fuck is this dancing guy on stage? But that's the thing. Esports has grown to be so diverse now. There's so many different people. I listen to different music than both of you. I listen to like so many different genres. Matt, pretty sure the same. Same with you,
Lot of
Moses,
Enya.
whatever y'all listen to over in Canada, right? And the thing is, one genre of music isn't going to capture that whole esports
Right.
audience. So I wonder how far this is going to go. Fortnite is working right now because of their audience and their pop culture.
Well,
But
that
all
Fortnite
around,
and
it's
pop
like,
culture are like just mesh. Like there is a very clear
yes,
overlap between Fortnite and pop culture because Fortnite was so accessible and huge. But I hope, like anything else, that this is a smashing success and it brings more shine to the esports world or whatever you want to call this gaming
Even
art.
even if it gets people more invested in the individual agents, whether they like
oh,
the vibe of one agent, and maybe they kind
What
of
is
like.
the vibe are we talking about? What is the vibe?
I don't know. I'm using their line.
I mean,
I'm
look at
just saying what they said. But
What's Sova's vibe? Sitting up in a tree
but I
watching
don't
you
think
go to
people
work or
have
what?
like the. I may be wrong. I may be wrong, Velly. You may be able to chime in on this a little bit more. But Overwatch, like in League of Legends, like there's a clear tie to the character. Where like people are like
yeah.
diehard fans of the character, like they love everything associated with the character. I don't know if
This
there's
is more. This is Overwatch, dog. This
It's-
this.
it's
I don't
in-
know
it's
if
in
there's
Valorant.
anything like that
It's
in
in Valorant.
Valorant yet.
Yeah. Look at the characters, right? So, I mean, let's look at the easiest one, the black dude, Phoenix. Obviously, he's gonna like
he
hip
has
hop.
clearly he has a vibe.
Yep, he's gonna swag it out with the hippity hop, right? And
Yeah,
then you look at someone like Killjoy, you know, EDM house, whatever.
yeah,
You go to
yeah.
Rays, you know, like
Greasy German basement music.
Greasy German basement music.
I think they could rock it, but then what music does Cypher listen to?
Yeah, Cypher is listening to like
Classical
just like
music. Classical
either
music.
classical music or psychedelic trance, just
A
like
country guy, maybe.
yeah.
Is Morocco in Africa? Are we gonna get like Morocco?
Tell me a
music?
world
don't-
where a
don't
dude
ask me.
from
I have no
Morocco
idea.
making
Morocco-
gadgets in his basement doesn't spend
Velly,
a
I
lifetime
am not
in
the
prison.
geography expert. That is. I'll direct that one directly to Moses.
So, what are you directing to me?
The geography question. I know where I am. I know where New
Where's
York
Morocco
is.
at?
Morocco is not a place that you can make gadgets in your basement and then be promoted for it. I promise you that.
What,
I
like,
pro-
there's only a few in Valorant that I
it's
can
North
think of, that's
Africa,
it.
dude. They're you know that you like.
Yeah,
There's
Velliers, right?
the predator drone is preventing any cipher from ever making it. So yeah, I hope that WWFest is it'll be interesting at the very least.
So we'll do next week. We'll come back and we'll all pick 5 songs that we think they'll play for each individual agent, and we'll make
be
our
dope.
own playlist.
Yes.
Well, okay, so we'll start with actually I can only imagine Phoenix's playlist is a bunch of like unintelligible British rap. You know,
Oh,
just
British
like
rap is so bad.
He just made this sick face.
yeah. And then I guess Jet would probably be like
K-pop, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't
Nah,
say
nah.
K-pop. I would
What's
say
peace?
something like summer feel good vibes playlist .mp4 or .mp3 or something
Yeah,
like
true.
that.
Right.
You know, she's got
Chill
like the
music.
Spotify top 20 on lock every day.
Yeah.
She's calling people idiots and
Some
stuff. It's like-
mainstream stuff, yeah.
yeah, mainstream.
Top
I-
40s.
So
Breach rock.
Sova is listening. What is Sova listening to?
He's got a mullet. Maybe it's like country or something.
No, country would be like
Brimstone.
yeah.
Yeah, Brimstone definitely is like.
to AC/DC or something like
Yeah,
that, or like
No, that's Breach.
Johnny Cash.
definitely,
I
yo.
bet you Brimstone drives a pickup truck, dude. I bet you.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, 100%. See, this is what I want to find out. If this
This is
festival
interesting
is
now.
like this, yeah, I'm about it. Maybe
what
they
if it
need
doesn't
us to just sit
match?
there and
What if they-
discuss.
What if they put Brimstone up and it's just like, and now we have this I don't know, what would not fit, I guess, for
Oh,
Brimstone.
Viper
like heavy
pops up with,
trance
like,
and
Rihanna music.
Brimstone. Yeah,
I could see her listen to some stuff like that.
it's true. I
Oh,
think we've
so
gone
sexy
way
vibes.
way too deep on this, but I'm okay with it.
I like this topic. I didn't think
Yeah.
I would.
See, this is why WWFest is going to be so interesting, so we can find out the answers to what agents and their playlists. And I imagine there's going to be choreographed dances as well.
What
I
car
did see some
Brimstone
dancing.
has?
I like the arena aspect as well. I can't wait to see the arena aspect. Do we know what location this arena is in? There was a lot of words on the screen. Do we know where they're holding this thing?
No, there were about 85 locations on the screen at one
Right,
point, so
okay.
I don't really know where it would be held.
An arena could be a lot of things. They could do it like, you know, the the Mid-Sun Community Center or something like that. You know, that
Could be a
technically
virtual
an
arena.
Why put that in a promo? Hosted in an arena.
Hosted in an arena.
Yeah, like none of us can go to the arena, so I don't know. Sure, why not? I mean,
okay, it's on the Crown Channel. It's WWFest. Let's actually try and get some actual
what is
information out of this trailer. It's on the
WWFest,
planet
though?
Earth with DJs.
WWF.
Yeah.
Is
January
WWFest
15th,
the thing that already
US,
existed?
UK, Germany, Brazil, Japan, Korea. I don't think they're gonna. 6 agents are hosting. Oh, we're gonna have it hosted by the agents at Digital Fest in an arena.
Yes.
Inspired
And
by
it
the
shows a
world.
sketchy alleyway.
Arm and Hammer, Moore, Kismet, Whipped Cream. Are those like code words? Like,
No,
is that a
those are
password
like,
to a computer?
Those are like artists.
Oh,
Cream artist.
Whipped Cream artist.
Just Googled it.
Well, that's I don't know
It's a
something you want to put in
Canadian
the Google.
DJ. Okay.
Canadian.
She's from your hood.
Oh man, I'll have to look her up. I've never heard of her.
She looks cool, actually.
Is she look okay?
So I found another article talking about it. So it says Riots explain that each agent's feed will be tailored to reflect their individual attitude, culture, and style. And now when an agent is on the main stage, viewers of that agent's drone feed will see a variety of angles and views during the performances. So by switching agents' views, each viewer can truly have their unique experience of the festival.
So a whole digital party. It's
Yeah.
like a VR digital party.
Oh,
at
and it'll
VR.
only be so it won't be
Interesting.
all of the agents. At least
Put
on
your
this
hands in
list
the air.
here, it'll be Raze, Reyna, Phoenix, Killjoy, and Jet. So we won't get Brimstone's playlist.
we have a
Brimstone's
watch
dad
party in
vibes.
here?
Oh my god. I like it. I
Yes.
haven't Whipped Cream
I'm
Canada.
gonna check it out. I'm definitely gonna check it out now after this conversation.
I'm just getting ads for Whipped Cream. Oh, I need to put artist in there.
I put whipped cream artist. That's what I put.
Artist. Whipped Cream Canada artist. Oh God, Julie, take that off your. I don't need to see you covered in whipped cream. Canadian producer Whipped Cream rises to the top.
Right.
Yeah, interesting. Very
He's a
interesting.
big deal.
Well, there's nothing else I imagine I want to talk about. I think that's the show for this week, guys. Thanks for coming in. Anyway, let's talk about the reels. Oh, is this playlist?
Oh,
Oh,
do we have a
is.
playlist already?
Is this it?
Oh my god.
Did you just leak the set?
Yo,
we
This
just
is what
leak
they're
it?
gonna play?
VALORANTing, we out here, boy. Let's do it. We hear like,
Is that actually from the? Click on the artist, Daniel.
yes.
Click on the Valorant on the where it says Valorant. Yeah, that's actually the Valorant Spotify.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
I'm intrigued.
I'm gonna have to listen to the Jet
play now.
playlist.
Yeah. Play a song. You won't.
You won't. No balls.
You won't do it. Nah, seriously, you won't do it. Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely. I'm definitely
All right.
wrong. Don't do that.
We've gotten past all the other stuff. WWFest is definitely something I'm gonna mark my calendars in various languages, and I'm gonna pay very close attention to what's going on there. But now it's time to talk about First Strike. We're gonna start with the lesser regions, or the minor regions as they call them. The minor. Well, actually,
all
Korea's a
regions
major
get their
region.
love here.
We have
All
the
regions
thumbs
matter.
up. Yep.
All regions matter.
Japan, Turkey, Oceania, and this is Korea. So this is basically how it went. 13-0 for Vision Strikers over Cloud9, which was the only other team that we thought might have a chance. And if you're wondering, Vision Strikers won the whole thing, which they are excited about, but I think they were told that they were going to win, or knew they were going to win rather before the thing even kicked off. They're what, 49-0 now?
Yeah, they've just dominated Korea. For a while, it looked like teams like Quantum Strikers and Cloud9 were catching up and maybe could give them a run. But
Only one Strikers.
But they didn't.
I don't
Vision Strikers ends up winning that. I believe Vision Strikers also said they would love to see something where you can already kind of tell, at least from some of the things you've seen, they're potentially a little bored of the Korean competition, where they want something more representative of all of APAC for them to compete in. So they're really looking forward to that international competition when the time comes.
They're talking about a second strike. Like they want to get something together with all the Asian teams.
second
Like the
strike.
top teams.
Yeah.
There's only 2 strikes: first strike and third strike, in my opinion.
I love Street Fighter.
Hell yeah! Shout out to Third Strike, the best Street Fighter ever made. We
I
also
love you.
right. I'm telling you,
I
dude.
felt
Third
that.
Strike was
Okay.
the best fucking Street
You're
Fighter
right.
ever made.
I
Yeah.
respect you so much.
I don't care about Capcom versus CVS or anything.
I'm sorry, Chad. This is like a gamer, like soul to soul
Yeah,
moment.
yeah, dude. I used to teach myself. I remember watching the video of that Evo when the Ken is parrying Chun-Li's
Oh,
kicks. I taught
yes.
myself how to do that. That's how serious I was about
that
Third
sounds
Strike back in
awesome.
the day. Yeah, dog, it was great.
I don't know
okay.
anything about that.
It's all right. It's fighting game stuff. Fighting games are like fighting games that have like what Smash Melee. That's the biggest one that they have.
Yeah.
And then every other fighting game is like in its own little box, ruled over by Sonic Fox. Japan results are in as well. These guys have yet to be informed. They're being held to card. They actually can't see what it says on it.
Are they happy
They
won?
know they
or are
won, right?
sad?
Oh, like I think did we win?
They could have got the top right.
He's like, I think
okay.
he's like
He's champion, yeah.
I can't wait. I'm trying not to smile because that's not what we do here.
Which
Look at him.
team
He's
was
like
it?
about to pass. He's about to pass out. That guy.
Winning
top.
is gangsta over there, man.
Yeah. Which team?
Oh, look a smile.
Which team won? Do we know? Which team was
the
that?
guys that were holding the placard.
I mean, I know it was them. We just saw them hold the. But
roll it back. Roll it back.
But they didn't have like the names on the jerseys, so I was trying to see who it was, and we didn't have any of those ridiculous logos.
What's sad is I thought Mr. X asked that question because of their faces, but he was legitimately
Aim
thrilled.
with pride.
They look
Aim with
so
pride
upset.
wins.
All right.
Aim with pride. Aim with pride are the winners.
There
I'm
we
pretty
go.
sure that's a sponsor. Who knows? Regardless, they win. Can we just focus on the guy in the top left? Look at him. Oh God. Try not to smile.
Yeah, so it was Absolute Jupiter that wins. But our boys, Blackbird Ingus made the finals. So we almost had a Blackbird Ignis final where we sort of saw. It's unfortunate because they played
crazy raccoon shakeout.
So they played they definitely had watched the podcast and they put Crazy Raccoons against the Blackbird Ingus in round 1, and and the Crazy Raccoons lost 2-0.
Oh,
so they were in and then they were out. It was very, very quick showing for them.
I had high hopes for Crazy Raccoon. Unfortunately, the logo did not translate to the in-game performance.
Yeah.
Clearly with Blackbird as well. Where did they go out?
No, they ended up in the finals. Blackbird played against Absolute Jupiter in the finals, but Absolute Jupiter did not lose a game the whole time.
That's
awesome. Matt.
Wow.
So they 2-0'd the first round, 2-0'd the second round, then 3-0'd in the finals. So maybe they maybe they looked uninterested because they were just dominating everybody.
Do we have match data for Absolute Jupiter versus Vision Strikers? Does that exist? I don't know. Maybe we can look into that while we talk about Turkey. Turkey had its own. Everyone had their own land, dude. So we get all these sweet. I'm not sure if BBL Esports. Nice job, guys. I don't know if Turkey had a LAN, but I definitely know that Brazil did, which we'll get to in a little bit. We also have Oceania, which I think looks like the most lopsided bracket. Exo Clan was just like, we win.
This was one you kind of saw it coming. Even if you watched just a little bit of the Oceanic region, Exo Clan's just been rolling there since really day one.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, Exo Clan I'm still surprised to see Wildcard in the Oceanic region. Well, I mean they didn't win, unfortunately, but Exo just marched. They marched all the way there. So even Order, who 2-0'd their previous opponent, couldn't get a map off of them, which is unlucky, as they say. Okay, that's good. Nice job, Oceania. I don't have anything else to add. We have Middle East and North Africa.
Yeah.
Which includes some forfeits.
Unfortunate.
So in the semifinals, Knockout just forfeited.
Wait, what?
And then
Multiple
in North
forfeits.
Africa, Made in DZ also just forfeited. Giving Majesty the grand finals berth where they lost to Fox Gaming. And the Ultimates also, after a forfeit, lost to RVN. And Nasser Esports. So Levant in Egypt, which I didn't know. Where is Levant? Levant? Is that how we say this?
Sounds fancy.
It sounds nice, dude. It sounds almost French, but it's next to
Levant.
Egypt, so I don't know. So is it insensitive to suggest that in a place like North Africa that the internet just turned off and they couldn't play?
Oh, you know where Levant is? So
Where is it?
Levant is an area, and it's essentially like the top right side of Africa, like around
Okay, so
Cairo.
you've had time to Google, is what you're saying.
Yes, yes. So it's
Okay.
basically the Jordan up to Syria part of the world,
Oh, okay.
right underneath
Okay.
Turkey.
Nice, dude. I like
Pretty
it.
cool.
Yeah, these regions have pretty strong like Counter-Strike ties, so to see them get into Valorant's not surprising.
It's like Europe is leaking down with their gaming interests down to the rest of the world, or at least the rest of Africa and everything.
I didn't
else
know
like that.
North Africa had an esports scene ever. Like that's I want to
know
make
it from
guest
YouTube
appearance from my
comments.
people. Yes.
I know it from YouTube comments because it's always like, I wish we would get servers in Uzbekistan or Morocco or whatever, wherever. So, yeah, man. So I'm glad that they're being included. However, you never like to see forfeits in the semifinal of an event like First Strike. So we have CIS. We're slowly coming back around to the esports rest of the world, civilization, I guess you could say. Forza did take it overall. This bracket a lot closer, at least through the semifinals. Best of 3 here, until we got to the finals there. So as far as the results here, Matt or Velly, anything standing out to you? I think Forza was kind of the force, were they not? All the good Russian players are in Europe, though, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think the one story was Gambit, who they wanted to play in European First Strike, and they ended up
they wouldn't let them.
Yeah, they ended up having to play in this bracket, but they don't even win this one. So
That's rough.
Poor Gambit, dude. They just want to play with everybody else. And then finally we have Brazil, where we get back to video, because Brazil,
another LAN.
They got a LAN, dude, and Game Landers won the gaming LAN. So
it was in their name.
Look at that. Look at them go. Yeah. Hey, man, Brazilians are always hype. It doesn't matter if there's no one in the room. They're hyped up, dude. And shout out to the guy named John. His username is almost as bad as yours, Matt.
What do you mean? Mine's not that bad.
The X is
Matt,
legendary.
Mr. X?
Yeah, it's legendary.
Legendary Matt, Mr.
John is just he's another John. I mean, we don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of Johns in gaming. I'm unique.
Okay. Can you explain to me the etymology, the not the etymology, what's the word I'm looking for? The evolution of your username. How did we get to Matt Mr. X? Was Matt taken, I assume?
No. So I started as just Mr. X, and then as I progressed, progressed through life. I kind of hit my late 20s. I was like, I don't want to be called Mr. X anymore. I think I want to try and convince people to start using my name, as I want to move further away from, being in my mid 30s with a video game alias is what most people in my life are calling me. Yeah, so I decided to throw my name in front of it, and hopefully people just say Matt. But it's helped a little bit. But now we just get a lot of different things. I get Matt, I get Mr. X, I get X. Sometimes I don't even get acknowledged. I just kind of get shouted at. So I mean, it's a whole bunch of different things now.
Did you get a haircut?
Me? I cut the sides a little bit.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
looking good. See, my hair actually works the opposite way. I only have hair on the sides.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice haircut, dude. You did it yourself?
No.
Oh,
my wife did it. I can't take any credit for. Look, if I didn't have her, I couldn't get haircuts. I'd be looking like a homeless person. I'd be looking like a caveman. I'd have like the hair like all over the place. My beard would be out to here. Like,
I swear, I'm still holding strong to the fact that if you decided one day to just become an Asmongold impersonator, you would crush it. Your hair is much stronger than his, though, so you might have to make some sacrifices.
I don't think I'm willing to make those sacrifices. Even if the monetary gain could be great, I think I'll stay doing what I'm doing for now.
X gonna give it to you. That's true. That is very true. All right. So we got Brazil. Hey, did we throw up the graphic? Oh yeah, Game Landers. Game Landers was the winner. We went. I definitely remember that.
Was there was it Brazil? I think they did a LAN, but one team actually couldn't go and compete. I believe
What?
something with COVID, or was that a different region?
That makes sense, actually.
I believe it was Brazil. There was a team that had to drop out.
That's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was is it like a dude didn't adhere to the guidelines or something like that, so the team couldn't go. So I can't remember. I'm just
You
making shit up. I have no idea
I'm
what
about
you're
to
talking about.
say, whew,
Yeah, so there was a team called Vorax Fusion where they lost their first spot in the first strike tournament because of it. So they weren't able to play. So Havan Liberty was the team that yeah. Havan Liberty
well,
got a pass there in the round one. So just incredibly unfortunate with obviously everything going on that uh yeah, that kind of happened, but I think that's gonna be one of the biggest hurdles of running live events, for the future, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Vorax had to forfeit in the bracket.
Yeah.
Unlucky.
Well, vaccinations are out, Matt. So who knows what the future holds now? I mean,
Yeah.
They're
some
gonna turn
like
us all into
100-year-old,
zombies.
some 100-year-old grandma, some 90-year-old woman just got. She was the first person to get vaccinated in like
He was
Europe.
90.
Yeah.
Crazy. We're gonna
He was
have
90.
land soon again. Yes.
With 9-year-old
I mean,
ladies been leading the way.
yeah, I'm hopeful we get land soon,
By the
but
time you by the
I
time
don't
you and I
know.
get vaccinations, dude, it's gonna be a long time down the road. But you know what I would rather talk about other than COVID is
What?
co-streams.
Yeah.
Yes. They were so
So
good.
all of us here are well, I kind of work in esports now and again, but the men to my left and my right are working esports talent, and I'm going to start with Velly with this. How do you feel as a working esports talent to see Myth and Ninja peaking around like 120K combined viewers, beating out the mainstream by a significant margin?
I think it esports is evolving. Okay, first off, if you're an esports talent, your days are numbered because they
This
put
is Velly
Jordan
reading
on the
off
desk.
the PR sheet here. It's
Yeah.
like, let me see what notes I was
feel
given.
that
Yeah.
traditional broadcast talent will always be valuable.
It's so great though. You know why? I think Valorant is so lucky that they have someone like Myth to attach himself to their brand in esport. They
Yeah.
have Ninja co-streaming. You know what? At the end of the day, I don't really think that Riot is gonna sit there and say, oh, First Strike had less viewers than Ninja and Myth. I think at the end of the day, they're saying, wow, our numbers as a whole was so big, and we're bringing in more viewers from the Fortnites, the other games that Myth and Ninja are gonna be on, and now they're going to be interested in our scene because their role models are watching us. That's phenomenal. This is stuff that other esports dream of. Ninja and Myth pretending to be coaches of these teams, co-streaming the event. You can't ask for that. Like that's stuff that dreams are made of.
I mean, I like this stuff.
I love it.
And I
Myth
think
was following me on Twitter, and I was gonna DM him, but now he apparently isn't following anyone.
yeah. He went on a
What?
huge unfollowing thing the other day.
Okay, cool. I was gonna DM him about it, but I just want to do some quick math here for Matt.
Yeah.
So Myth has 2.4 million followers. Okay,
Yep.
Ninja I think has like 13 or something crazy like that.
He's-
No, Ninja's got 6.5. So those two tweets, them just tweeting at each other, is 8+ million. Shit, I would say 9+ million potential followers
Yeah.
seeing that, which is just the type of eyeballs that only exorbitant amounts of money can buy. We'll talk about that
That's
in a minute.
power.
But Matt, give me your take.
I think this is the beginning of like the future of like what esports broadcasts and kind of things along those lines look like, to where you look towards the future. And I know me and Moses had to talk about this the other day over when we were playing some games, but
Wow.
you look at somebody like TSM Myth, right? If you're Riot, do you say, hey, look, we will produce the feed, we'll have a stream with commentators, whatnot, but then we'll also allow TSM to have the feed, right? And they can do what they want with it. They can have Myth host it, maybe like somebody like you, Velly, right? Like, or even somebody like me or Moses could like do
Right.
something with 100 Thieves, right? Like, hey, we're gonna give you guys the feed, make the show you want to make with it, and all of those numbers just go to driving up this section of the game and driving interest in the game and whatnot. So I think this is an approach that I think you'll start to see a lot of other people use where it makes total sense. It's everybody wants to have as many eyeballs on it as possible. There are so many big content creators tied to these organizations now. Uh, you should just leverage them to push the brand, make the esports bigger. So I think this is just the beginning. I think that this will definitely be something that's expanded on as time goes on.
And you know what, Moses? It says something as well, and I'm not educated enough to try to guess the reasoning behind it, but Riot were really strict about who were going to co-stream as well. A lot of big names were rejected and turned down.
So, this is where we get into what I like to call dangerous waters when it comes to discussion on certain types of things. But I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't get into the nitty gritty here. And the reality is that the esports is driven by eyeballs.
Yeah,
Eyeballs are the
Yeah.
currency, and the when it comes to Riot making decisions about where the eyeballs will come from or where they can see their product, they have full and total control,
yep,
because it's they have full and total control. So anyway, they give these two huge streamers, Myth and Ninja. And to be fair, Myth has been in since day one, and Ninja is as well. These are Valorant players. We can't just call them influencers getting the bag
no,
because they happen to be Ninja and Myth. These are guys that are Ninja is still, bless his heart, trying to compete in Valorant. Like, he's a gamer. The dude is out there grinding. Myth is the same thing. He's been supporting his team from day one. He's been playing the game. He's been around. But there's lots of guys who've been supporting the game and have been around, like Sideshow. Sideshow watches every waking moment of Valorant, which I can't fully comprehend. But I mean, to take it away from a guy like Sideshow, who provides only the only word I can think of is expert analysis in ongoing matches, is a little bit bad. I think that co-streaming needs to be more inclusive. But on the other side, you have Riot looking at, well, how do we measure all this stuff? Because if you have co-streams out the ass, you're not going to be able to you're not going to be able to track all these
Yeah.
stats accurately. And that's how you unfortunately sell to advertisers. So if I'm Riot and I'm saying, yo, Samsung, or yo, Gfinity, or whoever their sponsors are, we have, here's our deck, and this is what we're going to do for First Strike. If I'm Kazra, I'm doing my business development. We've got Myth and we've got Ninja, and all you got to do is put up the stats of how many eyeballs that Ninja and Myth can reach on their own, and they'll say, no problem, bring them on. We want that. We'll pay extra money for that. That's great.
really smart.
It gets
Yeah.
investors and advertisers excited. And not to mention, there's the added benefit of Myth and Ninja. It's a great idea. There's no way to knock it.
Right.
It was a smash success. However, as an esports talent, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, oh shit. All we need is influencers to drive their own co-streams, and they will blow, and it won't matter because the commentary and the analysis
Yeah,
and average Jonas doing a solo song is great. But it's only great for about 10 seconds when it matters, or for a Twitch clip here and there. And then they're back to looking at Myth and Ninja doing their thing. And shit, man, Myth is an entertaining guy, and
hmm,
entertainment sells. Talk about Snoop Dogg casting Mike Tyson. He wasn't really
amazing.
casting the
Yeah.
match, but it was fucking awesome. So I think those two things go hand in hand, and even though it's
Well,
scary to see, man, we live in an evolving environment, man.
I
I
mean,
think
it
it,
makes sense.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, like, a lot of I think esports and whatnot, and kind of like the talent role, like up until this point, has been like, you have to know the games inside and out. You have to be the expert in this and that. I think though, like as time goes on, like you mentioned, Moses, I think it's just more evolving into just entertainment in general, right? Where I think the big win for like the esports broadcast versus like a co-stream is you can see multiple entertaining personalities, kind of exist with each other and banter with each other, as opposed to just one. But I think that's kind of, at least for my perspective, I see the whole kind of shift coming is that this will be way more about entertainment in the future as opposed
Yeah,
to the kind of like strict hardcore kind of commentary and analysis.
I completely agree. That's what my point was actually going to be. You take a look at Valorant in a way that it was spoken about and just perceived over the weekend. It wasn't a game that was super into the nitty-gritty of detail like you would a Rainbow Six or Counter-Strike, right? It was more of a you gotta think about the art direction and the way the game looks, right? It's more of we're a vibrant, fun game, and we're just here to have a blast. That is it. And not having your stream saturated with a lot of streamers, and granted, most of them that could have co-streamed would have been phenomenal, right? You have just pure entertainers that are at the top of their field, and that's pretty much it. That's a huge W in my eyes. Yeah, it's scary, but it makes sense. This isn't just like a small game like Gears of War winning co-streamers. These are the people that run the LEC LCS, like the biggest esport in the world. Some of the top viewed sports in all the world is insane, but it worked at the end of the day. And people might be looking like, oh, they had less viewers than the co-streamers. No, because when they have those numbers, they add it all into one.
No, yeah, it's all
Right.
added
It's all
It's all
together.
one number.
And that is why it doesn't matter
You don't
what
saturate it.
it's not a saturation thing at all. We've taken over the top game on Twitch, basically, or one of the top. So we're in the top 5 titles on Twitch. People are gonna naturally just click and see what's going on. And they're naturally gonna click and see what's going on with Myth and Ninja and Valorant, and they're just gonna it's just a magnet. And that's how that's how it works. So I think it's really well executed.
And you probably have a good idea if you're Riot. If you have Ninja, you have Myth, and you have your own stream, that's enough eyeballs to get to the top Twitch, no matter what, right? I mean, even if the tournament broadcast didn't do that great, and you were just relying on Myth and Ninja to boost the section up with content, there was a good chance you were going to be either 1 or 2, and the tournament broadcast was going to push you over the line. So you put together a strategy that could not fail viewership wise, pretty much, right? Like from a standpoint of we're gonna get there. Just wait for it to happen, right? So it worked out perfectly for them, which makes total sense on their part. They did a great job planning that out.
Bravo.
I don't like publicly counting other people's money, but in this case, I'm gonna do it. So what do you guys think? There's a debate. I'm just gonna put it up, yay or nay, or one or the other, I should say. Matt, did Riot pay Ninja and Myth, or did Myth and Ninja pay Riot?
I mean, I think there's probably an option where nobody paid each other, where it was, hey, here's the rights to this content, and they knew by having the rights to that content, their streams are going to be massive those weeks.
Well, they've already had a taste of that from beta, right? They know what's up,
right?
Just get exclusive access, and that's more
right,
than
where
enough.
Where I think if you're somebody like Myth, you kind of look and say, okay, like, hey, if I have the license to broadcast this for the weekend, like, one, I want to do it anyway, and I enjoy it. But 2, if it's kind of promoted by Riot as like one of the only 2, like my viewership's gonna spike like crazy, right? So
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
So sorry, I just had to disappear there for a second. I am of the belief. Actually, we'll go to Velly next. Velly, what do you think?
I think that Myth definitely could have gotten paid because Myth was in the plethora of content pieces that Riot produced. But
That's a good point.
Matt makes a great point. I mean, take a look at when we had to watch the streams to get the drops. None of those streamers, none of those people got paid. This was voluntarily because they knew that because of the hype alone, they were gonna get the money either way. And these people get paid.
I think you're right. I believe that this again is
Smart.
a more of praise on where these two gentlemen have put themselves through hard work and dedication and all the other things that that is required to be as big as they are. You don't get Ninja and Myth for free, I don't think. I mean, Myth can do his thing regardless, and I'm sure he would have anyway. However, Ninja is a franchise, and you don't get Ninja without a little bit of cash.
Actually, I would say,
But
Ninja jumping into Valorant's like head first with Myth at the top like this. This is exposure that even Ninja would definitely want though, because now he's attaching himself to Valorant esports. Myth is attached to Valorant esports like permanently at this point, and for Ninja to do that, that's gonna put so much more money in his pocket. Even if they said, we're not gonna pay you, you would have to be stupid to say no.
Yeah, I also think it kind of shows where they view their future and potential player base is from. It's from the aging Fortnite crowd. I mean, you have
Ninja
two
has
of
to
the
evolve.
biggest stars from Fortnite, at Fortnite's like peak, right? Now getting into Valorant, and they're probably a lot of their viewers are probably players who
Coming
played
along, dude.
Fortnite who, yeah, maybe they aged out of it. Maybe they were trying to play some Warzone or something. Maybe they get interested. I think that's kind of where you see potentially a lot of the player base coming from now.
We need like gamer economics or something like that as a class, because there's so many interesting aspects to this huge equation. But
Really is.
I ultimately it was a smash success, and I cannot imagine a world where we don't see this exact thing
Yeah.
happening basically forever, if not live at the event, which I'm sure will be much preferable. But that's where things get a little different. Is, do you think that the co-streaming thing with streamers continues after COVID, or do you think that we go back
Oh, yeah.
to like day rates and shit like that?
What do you mean?
Oh.
Well, I mean, like for instance, Ninja and company were brought out to like PUBG's big thing, because they had played the game in the past. Shroud Dog, all those guys, they get paid out. They get paid to come out there. Do you think that Riot invests that kind of money bringing these guys to events later,
So
or do you think they still have them co-streaming?
So Riot could invest the money. I think from the creator's perspective, you would rather do what you're doing now. The one of the biggest issues with trying to get creators to come to events and do different things is it takes them away from their setup to be able to
Stream.
stream
Yep.
and
Yep.
make more content. Where if now they can kind of be a part of the show or part of the broadcast, whatnot, or have the rights to co-stream, and not have to leave their setup. And one, travel; two, you lose days making content, you lose days on stream. This is like a perfect scenario for the creators, right? Where
Yeah.
this is where you would ideally like to see it stay at.
I think so too. I honestly, deep down, I'm just super jealous. I'm jealous of everything. I'm not in the equation, and I want to be. I want to be right in the middle. I think we all want to be in that
Just
equation.
become ninja.
Yeah, I'll just let me
Just stream.
just
Forehead.
whip up a 6 million followers really quick. He's got 20 plus on YouTube, man. That guy's insane. Never before, never again. I don't think.
Yeah.
And while I'm alive. Best copy pasta of First Strike. This is the one that I was
Fun.
hoping to get to as quickly as possible. We're going to go through any esports event has some great copy pastas. Starting off with the obvious, we have Keck WOW skill, or Keck OW skill, if you will.
So a bunch of Overwatch players play well.
We cat jam cat jam we cat jam.
No
mods,
mods,
no
no
We
pad.
jam, no mods, no ban. That's funny.
That's very funny.
You're out of luck. You should check your back, because my Danny's coming and his name is T-Sack.
The chats were pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie.
Twitch chat just gets progressively stupider over time.
All of them. It is.
Yes.
It's like reverse evolution. Like only the smart people get annoyed and leave, and then only the idiots remain.
Well, regardless of how like mature you are, you just see everybody just jumping into this cesspool of dumb, and you just feel like
join
you
in.
feel
I say
inclined
poggers
to
in regular
just
conversation now.
to just
the
contribute
time.
something stupid as well. Spam this peepo for the reverse sweepo. Like think about like. And then probably after this, a bunch of people were just like, "Oh, that's pretty funny. I'm gonna spam that as well." Like just
It becomes a thing.
yeah.
We have. I'm telling, and this is Hiko being jacked. I'm telling you, Hiko is as cracked as he is jacked. I saw him at a 7-Eleven the other day, and he was buying cases of Red Bull and adult diapers. I asked what the diapers were for, and he said they help contain my full power, so I don't completely shit on these kids. And then he bunny hopped out the door.
Bunny hopped out the door. Yes.
And finally, we have vote kick dicey. And the voting system was a little bit janky, but they're getting there. 9 out of 100 votes.
Little ghetto, but they were working there. Nah, there was one that had us dying, yo. People were calling me and Van silly. Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker from Rush Hour.
That's very funny.
And it became a thing, yo. I will admit, whenever I did look at the
those
chat,
movies are
it was
great.
comedy.
Those movies are great. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I
Rush
loved
Hour
it.
was great.
Rush Hour 2, my top 3,
Yeah,
man.
that was a great movie.
Rush Hour 2 was awesome, actually. that was
Oh,
a
wow.
great era of movies, just like buddy
Oh.
cop.
Did you guys
kung
know that
fu
Mad
movies.
Max was filmed in Australia?
And did you know that
It takes place in Australia as
that
well.
Mel Gibson is Australian?
Yeah.
He is?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. You didn't know that, Velly? Everybody knows that.
Except Matt. He's trying to pretend like he knew that Max was set in Australia, where last week he did not. So
Right. But now I know.
now, and did you not notice that
I don't know how to feel about
all
that.
the people in the movie had Australian accents?
No.
They did?
Yes.
See, Velly didn't know either.
I'm telling you, dude.
Chat, am I the only one, chat? Let me know.
No,
please.
I was last week. I was so confused.
That's why they talk like that? I thought that's how, like, people after,
See?
you know, radioactive warfare go. I thought that was like New Civilization. That's how they
Yeah,
I
talk.
either
told you.
that or like if they begin as a prison colony, that's how they end up speaking. So,
Wait, are you lying to me, Matt?
well, first of
No,
all,
I swear to God, I learned this last week because I made a fool out of myself. But now, and then I made a joke this week because we were talking about movies, but you didn't know either. So I feel better about myself from last week.
they're all Australian.
Yep.
Yeah, every single one of them.
That's why they talk weird. Okay.
Except for what's
Yep.
her name? Furiosa, who's just like some American chick. He's just hanging
I don't
out.
remember anything from that movie. I
You
just
didn't Mad Max? Fury
no, it was
Road?
one of those movies that like I was like, oh, everybody told me I should watch this, and I turned it on. And I just kind
so
of like was
long.
on my phone most of the time.
I went
yeah.
into that movie lit out of my mind. I'm not gonna lie to you, and I don't remember a thing either. So I just remember
There you
I remember colorful explosions, a lot of gross stuff with a dude in a mask, and
Yeah, the
everyone
metal
being-
People got
cars,
high,
metal
spraying paint in
cars,
their
yeah.
mouth.
Yeah, the
when they
chromium.
died.
They're spraying chrome into their mouths or something like that. They're basically huffing paint and then going out and blowing themselves up.
They're getting high before they fight. That's the future.
Is that what? That's the
Is
future?
it? I mean, that's not my future. I'm gonna sit right
Mad
here.
Max
I'm gonna
is
sit right
fighting
here
is
and
in
continue to
Get
play
high
video.
on-
I'm gonna sit right
Get
here
high
and
on
play
paint
video games,
cans
Velly.
and blow up cars. That's how we do it. Twisted metal.
Okay,
Do it.
got it. So we know what Valley's been up to. He's just like,
Yeah.
where are you at right now, Valley? Are
Not
you
my
you're in Vegas right
future.
now?
I'm gonna
just thinking-
drive my
Not yet, not
Volkswagen
yet.
around.
Valley's
Yeah,
got
no.
a can of chrome spray paint fighting people on the strip. Just like, come at me, bro. Glory or
Podcast
death.
coming soon.
So we have the so we have to pick our favorite. My favorite one is the Hiko being jacked and not wanting to poop his pants.
I like the Peepo one. I think it's stupid, and
Really?
I'll go with anything that's just so stupid. Like this is just so dumb. Like this is the lowest form of attempting to be funny. It's
But it's
it's
great.
spamming an emote and then just taking a word and adding an O on the end. Like this is the lowest. Like this is the lowest the bar could possibly be set to come up with something that's like catchy. Which I just love how stupid this was. And that somebody probably sat there and was like, well, what could I rhyme with peepo? And they were like, oh, well, I'll just
Sweet,
say sweep and add an O and then just put another peepo at the end. Like it's just so stupid. So I would say this one's my favorite.
It is so influential and addicting.
Yeah,
I
it's
like-
so dumb that it's great.
I like the Cat Jam one. Cat Jam never gets sold. I personally believe that Cat Jam is going to become a timeless meme. It's going
course.
to become a meme that lives with us until the end of time. It's one
Yeah.
of those.
I'm gonna have my flower arrangement on my funeral the shape of the cat jam. You know what I mean? Or a
when they
Pepe.
sing the tune as they close my casket, there's going to be like a holographic Cat Jam just like right over my casket. That's what I want in life.
Matt, how does it
Get there.
feel to be a part of an esport where spamming Pepe related emotes is allowed?
Doesn't change my
That's
life.
controversial,
I mean-
though. It's just,
Just fuck you,
I don't care.
dude. I had to jab it. I had to jab it. All right. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're getting into the nitty gritty. We actually have a special guest. Hypoc will be joining us for the
I thought it was Hypoc.
no, it's Hypoc. It's you carry the C. So he's going to be joining us to talk about First Strike EU, and then we'll be getting into North America. So when we come back in just a few minutes, we're going all the way in on First Strike because there's lots to talk about. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Valoranting. We have Matt and we have Velly and we have a special guest to add as well. Welcome Hypoc into the mix here. We've got
You
Mr.
said
Robbins.
his name 18 different ways.
Hi, Hypoc.
At the beginning, the middle, yeah, during the break, now the intro.
It's actually Hiccup, is how it's pronounced.
Right.
Yeah. You gotta swing through them vowels real quick. How you doing, Mr. Robbins? You feeling good? Fresh off the broadcast?
Yeah, doing good. I mean, I literally only just got back yesterday. It's not as bad as it used to be traveling across to your side of the pond, but all settled already.
How's Berlin these days?
A ghost town, actually, especially the part we were in, because it was mostly just tech and media buildings, I guess. But yeah, it seems they're actually taking COVID pretty seriously over there, which is a refreshing perspective coming from the UK.
Well, live in studio for the first time. Can you tell me what was it like being around other human beings?
Terrifying, actually. Yeah, no, it was actually a really weird experience. Not just obviously being back in the studio was fantastic. Not to brag to Velly again, I already did that earlier.
No, brag again for the stream, please. Like, let us know, like, when you walked in, you saw the stage and you saw everybody, what was all of your reaction? Like, how did you feel inside?
I mean, I've never been that much of a League fan, I'll be honest. I probably
It's a magical stage.
Probably shouldn't have said that on broadcast. But yeah, being back in the studio was like, I mean, I was terrified at first. It was an extremely intimidating experience. I've only really been doing this like, when was our first cast, Moses? What, like less than 18 months ago? Something crazy like that.
Hypoc is too. He's very sensitive. He likes to be. We call him humble Pock, is what we like to call him around the way.
This is coming from the man that literally trolled me for the first 4 weeks we worked together. He was just messing with me.
He would never do anything like that.
No, it doesn't sound like
and you know what? I like to think that
it really molded me as an individual.
Yeah. No, what I really wanted to do is take that insecurity and turn it into full-blown anxiety is what I wanted to do.
Well, it really worked. It really worked.
No trust on broadcasts, not really sure.
Everyone's out to get me. It's the esports ethos. But no, it was fantastic. I mean, the production team over there was literally, we had like a brainstorming session, I guess, a storytelling session before the broadcast, before we'd even had a rehearsal. And they were like, if you guys have any ideas whatsoever, literally just throw it at us. We'll try and make it work. So as I was explaining earlier to Velly, like we came up with that weatherman kind of telestrator thing with some of the B-roll footage from like static observers, like 2 hours before the rehearsal. And by the rehearsal, they were like, hey, come play with the telestrator. So it was like insane to be in a studio with production with a production team that talented. And again, after 2020 of being stuck in this dungeon for the last like 11 months, it was an awesome change.
I love it. I love the fact that everyone was able to participate and to be there together and to imagine having good times afterwards. Well, I have to give a quick shout out, actually a massive shout out, even though quick, to Jordan Fisher. I just dropped by and dropped a bunch of subs on everybody in the chat.
Hey. Wait.
Jordan Fisher, thank you so much.
Let me say
this. Speaking of Jordan Fisher, I was sitting every day looking at my email inbox, waiting for the email to come to say, "Hey Moses, of course we're going to bring you on for First Strike. We love what you've been doing. You could not possibly be replaced by anyone on Riot staff. Do you know?" And I was sitting there waiting, and then all of a sudden the talent announcement come out, and I see this beautiful array of faces. And I was like, okay, I've got to be on here somewhere. And then I came across this one guy, and I was like, Jordan Fisher, where in the sweet hell? And then I just, I had to do some brief Googling. And it turns out that all you need to get on to a broadcast of First Strike's caliber, other than obviously being Hypoc, is to be multi-talented, beautiful, well-liked by the community, interested in Valorant, and have some level of talent.
I mean, that's great. At least you fit one of those check boxes, I guess.
Which one is that?
You like Valorant?
wait. Let me say this. So let me say this before we change topics. Yo, all I'm gonna say is Jordan and Van Silly. Shout out to both of them in the chat. Both of them in there right now. Yo, they're like my brothers. Yo. And Jordan, thank you for the subs. But when he came to the desk, me, Vans, and Dash already has something really fun and special, and just that splash of personality. And then
Oh,
he
he was
upstaged
great.
all of
Yeah.
us. He upstaged all of us by looking better than all of us. I thought I was
On a
doing something with my
webcam.
little gold chain. He comes in with a Jesus piece that's bigger than my house,
Dude,
man.
I wish I looked that good on camera. Seriously,
I
Yo,
wish.
how
can-
if I had
Like,
one day, you guys ever see that little Dicky video where he gets to be Chris Brown for a day? If I could do
Trade
that,
places.
you know, just for one day,
Like, what? What?
just to, you
And then
know, oh my god,
he does, and then he's perfect at everything. A producer, dancer, singer. He is the Chris Brown of esports, and it makes me so sick. There is nothing.
When
he
I was
can't
watching
do.
the show, well, I was like, obviously watching First Strike, and you know, my wife, like, she got some coffee, and she's like, oh, like, Jordan Fisher's really good. Where they find Jordan Fisher? Like, has he done other esports before? I was like, he's literally done everything. I was like,
No,
you
When
could
your
turn on
wife
something
has
like he's
to
everywhere. I
explain
was
to
like,
who
what do
he
you
is in
mean? I was like,
esports? Oh my
I was
God.
like, he's fucking awesome at everything he does. I was like, yeah, of course he's gonna be great.
You know,
I was
you're in
like- I was
trouble
like,
when your wife is like, "Oh my God, Jordan Fisher's gonna be on the broadcast." Like,
Yeah, if I would have been on the broadcast, she would have been like, oh, you were all right. But like, you know, Jordan Fisher and Dash are amazing. I would have been like, oh yeah, well, sure, whatever. Yeah, why not?
yeah, yeah, those guys. Anyway, now extreme talent. Obviously, it was a very entertaining broadcast, and I was excited just for everyone to be having fun.
Yeah, the show looked fun.
Yeah. So I'll continue over here as the 33-year-old bald white man, hoping that I can someday be a young, good-looking.
You know what Jordan Fisher's probably biggest nightmare is that the changing places with you.
Exactly.
He's not gonna be able to
he's gonna be
sleep
like, "What
today.
the
He's gonna be like, gonna wake up and be like, whoa, my
happened?"
Moses. Oh my god. What
So for me,
happened?
so on one side it's a dream, and on the other side it's a waking nightmare. Just like, oh my God, what is this person doing? There's G Fuel everywhere in here. What the hell is happening? All right. So let's talk about the results. So this was in Europe, essentially the apocalypse. If you tried to make any predictions ahead of time,
unless you're Bach, apparently.
yeah, absolutely. And well, I don't know. We'll have to go back to the game tape to see what Bach actually said, because you know, Velly and Bach have this, you know, this pact where they, you know, they just cover for each other whenever they make horrible predictions. So so this is the bracket going through quarterfinals. Now I'm thinking Team Liquid and T1 need to get together and have like first round exit support groups. So Team Heretics, Hypoc, taking out Team Liquid in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I thought this one was a possibility, more so than their round 2 match, but this one was a possibility. I mean, it's no real secret. Liquid have kind of like struggled since Artis obviously left Fish 123 and they got signed, but it's kind of just been like a bit of an up and down. They just never looked as good as they did in beta with Artis. I think it really hurt that team when Scream came on board. Obviously, everybody was kind of hyped. It's obviously Scream, and I mean, you guys obviously saw what happened. I mean, the dude dropped 89 kills in 3 games. It was absolutely nuts. Like that's
What the fuck?
that's like the
Up
single
like 37 and a loss.
yeah. It was like the single greatest individual performance I've seen from any player. The problem being like, and I do put this down to the other 4 guys just had the worst day I've seen them have. But I mean, Heretics have been doing really, really well, and you know, everybody was saying, "Oh, don't underestimate Heretics," blah blah blah. And they've played some online stuff, but I'd say it's like to the bottom end of tier 2, like tier 3 kind of thing. So everybody was kind of hyping them up from scrims. And it's difficult, really, to base a team's potential at an event like this just off of, you know, some online stuff that wasn't against the best pool of teams and scrims, right? I mean, it happens all the time. There's teams that are really good in Counter-Strike up ahead of majors, and then they get to the major and shit the bed. But it was definitely weird to see Liquid go out in the way they did. Like, they got absolutely outclassed.
Well, at least Heretics went on to win it. You know, at least we have that.
That's their saving grace.
Yeah.
That is, in my eyes, that's literally Liquid
Yeah.
saving grace. It's like, yeah, we got absolutely. I mean, it was 2-1, but Scream was the only one that played consistently very well throughout that series. I think that's no secret. That's pretty much the opinion shared by everyone. But their saving grace is Heretics then went on to beat G2. So it's, you know, it is what it is.
it's almost it's kind of been the question or the discussion around Liquid even before they got signed, like losing artists. They then had like we were kind of talking about the best of one nightmare that is Europe, and how it could lower the visible success of a team ahead of getting signed, but they ended up getting signed anyway with the addition of Scream. And then the discussion became, at least on this podcast, is Scream going to bring the team up? And even though with his performance, Hypoc, do you think that Scream has elevated Liquid?
I mean, I don't. I think Artist is insane. I still think, especially from this past week, I think Scream now has got a very good pitch to be probably individually and mechanically the best player in Valorant. Put him on a team where he can flex around a little bit, and maybe, I don't know, some other insane support players. That I think you could probably double down on that statement. I would have thought he would have had a bigger impact in terms of improving Liquid than he did. It's been weird to kind of see them struggle against the teams they have after Scream came on board. But when they were dominating with Fish 123, obviously that was
very early days too. Back
towards
then.
Towards the end of beta, you've got to argue that obviously the level of teams has obviously like risen significantly since that time. So whether or not they've kind of just been left in the dust, I don't know. But there are players on that team that I think have performed much better than they did at First Strike. So how much you can chalk it up to just having a bad series, which happens, obviously. I don't know. There's a lot of questions. I mean, I see people on Reddit talking about whether or not Scream was even the right fit for them. That was the type of player that they needed.
It's a question. I mean, you can drop crazy stats. Stats are great, but the only stat that matters is the win-loss column,
exactly,
and championship.
I mean, dude, that clip we just rolled of him walking out B long on Bind and getting 3 kills.
Insane.
After that, Scream walked out window and died. Like, so there was a lot of moments in that series where it's just like, yeah, Scream's running around and getting kills, but they weren't really getting map control. They weren't like,
right, what are you doing with it?
Yeah, and it's again, like I said, it's very difficult to sit here and take away from a dude that drops 89 frags in the best of 3. I think it's gonna be a long time until anybody beats that record. I mean, Liquid got eliminated game 1, and up until like the second semi-final, he was still the highest rated player in the.
Can we roll that clip again, please? Can we just one more time? Just scrub that back like 20 seconds.
Insane.
Don't show us the death. Yeah, just show us the 3K again.
But look at the savagery.
I want to. Well, he uses his dash almost instinctively. I just want to watch it again. So okay, 1, 2, and then whoop. What did I like?
He kills the guy and still dashes. He's like, oh, I killed him.
Well, he's waiting for the 4th guy to kill that guy as well.
That's
nuts.
Walks out window and then dies. Like he.
But
So
then,
he came
like,
back into...
do you question if Scream is the right fit for the team, or is the main question, are we gonna build a team that works for Scream?
I promise you this:
obviously,
Scream is not the first person leaving that team.
No, I don't.
Right,
exactly. I think the 2 things to consider is the guy is absolutely like cracked, and the other thing is he's a superstar, right? And unfortunately, in Valorant in Europe, it has kind of lagged behind. Obviously, the storylines and the stars that we have created in North America already. I think you'd be very hard pushed to say Scream would be the one to get dropped from that roster.
Velly, let me ask you this: Do you think that Liquid Updates is going to have some hot news for us anytime soon? If you know what I mean.
I actually know the guy that manages that account, and me and him, we got into a very heated debate about the direction of Liquid, and he didn't even hint anything. I don't even think that it's a thought at this moment, because he probably would have known about it. So I'm really not sure what the direction of this team is going to be. Are they going to be in denial and say, oh, we're going to be okay, we lost against the champions? Or are they going to be like, all right, let's take a look at the last few months ever since FPX became a thing in Europe, and we have been knocked out multiple times. Groups, like best of ones, we don't even stand a chance. I feel like either way, something has to change. Like, at a point in time, you just got to stop being nice and say, this team isn't.
So
really
do you
going
need
too
a
far
change
right
though?
now.
I mean, it's you played a ton of best of ones in Europe, which I mean, we've all kind of sat here and talked about just how ridiculous it is. you get to this first kind of major, you play a best of 3, and you lose 2-1 to the team that wins, and you have your other players probably play the worst they've ever had. Where if they play a little bit better and Scream
Okay.
plays like that, that easily the result could have been flipped on its head. I just don't
So-
know where you make like a big sweeping change that's going to make this team like exponentially better. Like I think like where
Not in Europe.
I actually agree with that.
yeah.
Like completely.
Devil's advocate. So how come they can get the excuse of best of 1, but every other team, top team in Europe, they're not struggling in these best of 1s either?
Most of them
At
aren't
what
even
point-
signed. Look down
Right.
the list.
No, like you don't see FPX like making excuses about best of 1s. G2, they're not making excuses out of best of 1s. No other top team really is out there. I mean,
They're
yeah,
winning.
we hate the format, but yeah, they're winning. Liquid isn't winning. Best of 3, best of 2, best of 1, best of infinity. It doesn't matter. The main goal is to win, and if you're not winning, it doesn't matter the format. And you would think that even if it's a best of 1, wouldn't the better team with someone like Scream be winning anyways? I would go in a best of 1 with someone that could drop 37 kills a map and have faith in my team can win, rather than him dropping 37, losing that map and saying, oh, it's the best of 1. We'll get it next time. Oh, we'll get it next time until it's too late. How long are you going to wait until these other teams continue to surpass you? Now, you're not even a top 3 team. You got heretics and these other teams taking your spot. You were top 2, and then now you keep getting bumped back and back further and further. Something has to change. And the format and losing to the champions, to me, that's just a crutch. That's an excuse.
I agree with that sentiment as well. That doesn't kind of negate the fact that they've had kind of middling performances since obviously Artis left.
Consistently losing.
Yeah, I mean
Okay. It's very clear what's going on here. It's very clear. It is Team Liquid is the Carmelo Anthony New York Knicks. So like they have the one guy who is just going to put up 40 shots a game at like 30% conversion.
enough to go to the playoffs.
They're going to get to the 8th seed, and then they're going to get blown out by the Spurs or the Heat or whoever. So it's going to be, it's like there is once a cast where I need to get a basketball reference in, and in this case,
That was
Scream is Carmelo Anthony. And
I thought it was a baseball.
Okay.
Well,
fair enough.
no, that was as perfect as it could get, Moses. I
Yeah.
completely agree with you.
Yeah. So
The thing is, the one thing I will add on this though, that in terms of like reworking that roster, Sliggy is hailed as like one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in Europe. So I don't doubt that they have
how
a
many teams have coaches in Europe?
I don't doubt that they have a very, very strong plan behind addressing that. So yeah, actually, G2 just got something that's between a coach and a manager. I don't actually know. I can't. Is it Mike?
He's one of the best
Mike's, yeah.
coaches in Europe. Then,
Yes.
then I'm gonna expect results at the end of the day.
But some. This is the thing
performances.
this is the thing that confused me as well. That somebody was saying that that Mike's not actually the coach of G2 or something, or he just joined as like a manager or something. And I was like, I thought
Is he the
I thought they
Luca
got a
Face
coach.
Clan type of coach, like just to make sure they show up to where they're supposed to, or what?
awful reference. But I think so. Yes.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, actually, you know what? This is if I'm Liquid, there's one thing that, and every team has stress when they're not performing to the level that they're expected. But if I'm Team Liquid and there's one thing that's making me feel safe is the fact that Team Liquid still has a PUBG team. I'm not sure if they're aware of it, but if the fact that Team Liquid still has a PUBG team, I'm looking at my Valorant squad like, oh my god, luckily we have these guys over here. But you know what? Shout out to my pals James and Ibiza and whoever else is still on Team Liquid.
Mexi and Clib.
So
Mexi's actually nuts at Valorant, by the way.
Oh, is Mixie?
Saying,
Oh, is
just
Mixie
saying.
is nuts? Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad he's got something going for him. The I guess my only thought when it comes to Team Liquid is how do you get better? Like, what is the environment in which you can improve? Because they haven't been able to hurdle any hump that they've come across just yet.
I mean, damn, that's a really difficult question. I mean, the quickest answer is making a roster change, but it kind of comes down to I guess, knowing that team intimately enough to know what their ceiling is, and then sitting back and saying, did they play to that standard or did they not? Again, I'm not going to sit here and surmise as to what the internal dynamic is, or if there is some changes that they feel like, whether it be agent roles or anything like that they play around with first before considering that. I mean, obviously, Scream going onto the Jet was a big factor because he just doesn't use the operator, and he's obviously just a rifler. And I mean, it was a fantastic change for him, to be honest with you, because I still think Rain is kind of just useless in kind of every scenario where they're not just going to be fed kills. So against a good team,
I love Scream, dude. I love it.
I mean, I love him as well.
Awesome.
For the pure fact that now he's obviously made Jet look completely different in terms of like rifling. I mean, clips like that were like there was 20 of them over like that one series.
Yeah. I imagine Scream sometimes is like the comic like rock star guy who just like keeps showing up and like blasting everyone's faces off, and then just like, all right, get these bums out of here and get me a new team. And the rest of the team Liquid is just like in the back, just like, can we get it on some of the press as well? No, we just want to talk to Scream. Thanks though. Then anyway, I'm memeing on Liquid, but obviously they have some improvements to make it, and I think that with that squad and with Sliggy at coach, they have lots to look at now, and they have lots of footage and some review to do. We haven't been talking nearly enough about the people that beat them in the first round. However, Heretics did go on to win it. And because we are limited on time, I want to have you, Hypoc, walk us through this run that was Heretics from the opening round. I don't think anyone had them to win.
Yeah, I mean, it was bizarre because like the first series with Liquid was very back and forth, and I actually think it was very evenly matched, even considering like obviously Liquid's performance. I mean, it still went 2-1, right? Two of the maps were very close. They got to G2 then, and it seemed even closer. Like it literally looked like Heretics and G2 were like the closest matchup in the entire tournament after I'd seen like the first map. Which was a surprise because I think most people had G2 or FBX winning this. I would say kind of 90% of people had G2 or FBX winning this. Some people, were talking about Heretics coming into it. Obviously, like I said earlier, a really impressive scrim record. I mean, Taimu, obviously, with that interview, I'm sure everybody had seen was saying like everybody needs to keep an eye on Heretics. Like these guys are insane. But it's difficult to kind of read into that until you've seen them play against a good pool of teams, which obviously they did here. But the biggest thing for me was just like how quickly they switched it up versus G2. The first map, they were just kind of like sat back trying to figure out like what to do versus G2, because G2 have a very unorthodox play style. There's not a huge macro element to what they do. A lot of it is just, one player will pop off and find 3 or 4 kills in a round, and then on the flip side of that, 3 of them will die, and then Pit finds 4 kills and they end up winning rounds and stuff. There's always been this question around how deep the playbook is with G2. And actually, G2 kind of brought some stuff that we weren't really expecting from them to this event, but it didn't end up mattering. The big thing for me was like the individual performances from some. I mean, Nuki, so that the ace to close out the final map was just like the most poetic finish to the entire series ever, because he looked absolutely insane. Niso, another one, and I know there's a lot of speculation around Niso. I don't know if you guys have seen it all. Like this guy's apparently like a battalion cheater, and he was banned, and then it was removed, and he's banned from Apex and some stuff. But whether or not how much weight you want to give to that, I don't know. But between like Nuki, Niso, and Lao, like that's like been the most impressive team performance I've seen in Valorant.
Sorry, and I know that Nuki isn't Turkish, but are we calling this a Turkish team? Where is Nuki from? I didn't recognize the flag, but then again, I don't recognize many European flags.
I thought he was actually Spanish, but I guess not.
Potentially.
You're making me doubt that now. I know Pora is Turkish, Niso is German, Laul is obviously Spanish.
Okay.
I think
I was gonna say like name a better combo.
Nuki looks like is Lithuanian, and then you have
okay.
Pora is Turkish.
Yeah.
Yep. Vova's Danish, right?
Yep. Denmark, and then 2 players. Well, one from Spain and one from Germany.
Yeah.
It's always insane to think of how often we have the formula of like obscure European player, maybe a cheater, turns out to be insane type of situations. But
I mean, everyone thought Pora was cheating in early EU Valorant days. Like I remember casting that guy back in the mandatory cup, and he was playing with a player called Turco, and like these two were just like,
I was there. We did that event together.
yeah, like these two guys were just absolutely insane. Like, and it was against G2. I'm pretty sure it's back when they were on Prodigy or something.
Yep. Yep.
And they were, I can't remember the other three they were playing with, but I remember just literally spending about an hour and 45 minutes talking about Pora and Turco just like winning
Murdering.
2v5s versus G2 and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
They ended up losing still, but yeah, so like people have kind of had their eye on Pora for a long time. When he landed on Heretics, and then with obviously Laul and Niso, I think there was a lot of eyes on this roster leading up to the event, obviously. But yeah, this was kind of the thing for them, is just validated all the hype, to be honest. The fact that they went there and like first 2 rounds drew Liquid, and then round 2 it was like, yeah, you playing G2. By that point, I was like, yeah, they're gonna win. I don't care who they're playing in the final. Like if they've gone blow for blow with G2 and looked 10 times better, like it looked like a really tough series for G2. I was like, yeah, they're winning. Like simple as that.
Yeah.
It's well, I mean, shout out to the Heretics. I mean, this is at least it shook up European Valorant, which is honestly what we needed. We needed
Yes.
some.
Yes.
We needed we like if G2 had won,
Drama.
it would have been the most boring shit ever. Shout out to my friends in G2, obviously, who wanted to win. But for the spectating aspect, Matt, I don't think that having the same team win over and over and over and over again is interesting at all.
No, it's not. I'm sure everybody wanted to see like G2 versus FPX. I think the one of the more unfortunate parts is that like you had a really good final, but it was with 2 teams that a lot of like the I guess the casual base wouldn't have known, where you would have had like Liquid or FPX or G2 in it. You would have probably had like a little bit more interest from like just the overall like community, but because like these teams really haven't been like factors where it's really been like a 2-horse race the entire time, really kind of like G2 just dominating, you haven't had a ton of reason to talk about some of these other teams. But I think now though, this kind of opens up everybody's eyes to everybody else in Europe, right? That there are a longer list of teams, than the 3 I mentioned at the top.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think with Europe, when it comes to diversity, I still think we need like a couple of more big, or like with the fanatics, and like, I don't know what's going on with that stuff. If it's a caution of CS budgets versus affording to do literally anything else, including feeding your children.
Honestly, I think it comes back to a little what you were talking about earlier, and like it like the role that kind of personalities have played for NA. When you guys were talking about obviously Myth and Ninja, and I just generally think there's been a lot more eyes on NA. Again, with obviously like early on 100 Thieves coming in, and then like I mean even before that, players like Hiko saying they're going full time in Valorant. There was just generally a lot more eyes on NA, and I mean, as the history goes, in esports, there's more money in NA, right? So kind of converting those metrics is always much easier. I think if we get like another few top contender teams in EU, then orgs will start creeping in.
I think the storyline is now there because of First Strike. And if I'm talent in EU, like, yo, now is the time to really harp off on everything. Now you have Liquid, failing once again. You have G2 finally falling, and now we can take a look at what G2 did wrong in those rounds that they lost, what they did wrong on these maps. Start introducing the audience to Heretics. Let us know who these individuals are. Who are the playmakers on Heretics? Why are they so special? And then no, they won First Strike. Give those boys a fucking crown, all right?
Well,
call them the kings of Europe right now. Even though they beat G2 one time, they won. You cannot take that away from them. Start building that up now. And I think with some content pieces, some storylines that are well thought out and provided to the community, EU is going to be there. This is exactly what they needed. You couldn't have asked for a better event.
I think that the best thing for orgs in EU is the fact that G2 didn't win, right? And then the fact that on the other side of the bracket, Summon FC obviously did as well as they did to get to the final. So I think there's maybe been an element in the last couple of months of, do we want to sign a team in EU, spend a fortune on it for them to just lose to G2? Like that was basically the decision making, I think.
G2 are human.
It's
Now it's time to get in.
lots of questions. Well, not a lot of questions. The answer right now is Team Heretics have all the rights to call themselves the best in Europe. They beat G2, they beat Liquid, and they won the whole thing over Summon FC. It is what it is. You don't get to just take one event box out of it and say that's it. So we now have to move on to North America. I am of the mind that I want to keep Hypoc. Hypoc, do you want to stick around? I'm
Kick
fine
him
by
with
this.
us, man.
I vote
Sure.
to keep. I vote to
I'll
keep.
s-
Let's
I'll
keep
s-
him.
Vote
I'll
keep.
stay here
Vote
and
keep.
fanboy,
Vote keep.
yeah.
Vote keep. We're keeping him. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Anyway, I've made the decision. I'll have to get yelled at by the producer after. Okay. Let's talk about North America, the real region. So North American regional finals. Obviously, 100 Thieves did win the whole thing. But there was some question marks around what the bracket would look like, and it actually turned out to be fairly interesting. So the big one, actually, well, the only thing that wasn't interesting was the fact that the old T1, the T1 special out in the first round. FaZe, unfortunately, I don't think anyone had them to win that. I did meme pick T1, but here we are. The light has gone out in the hype candle once again. But Envy losing to TSM, but things are really starting to heat up around the semifinals. So let's talk. We'll talk to Matt first because you had Envy beating TSM.
I did. This was probably. I mean, this was like the biggest surprise for me. I had Envy beating TSM. I had 100 Thieves beating Sentinels. I had Envy actually beating 100 Thieves though in the finals. TSM just came out and played a really aggressive, strong game all weekend long. They looked extremely good. Yeah, this is my bracket. This is not what happened. They looked extremely good early on. Wardell was great all throughout the tournament. They got I think what you were worried about is like, well, would they get to play elsewhere outside of Wardell? They did in big contributions really across the board. I thought TSM had a tremendous weekend where I don't think you can even say NV played bad. I think TSM just beat them. They just hit a higher peak.
Yeah, it's TSM to me. You know, when you're having 12-1 scores in the first rounds against teams like Renegades, you still recognize how good this squad is. And TSM has the unfortunate benefit of being good for so long. We sometimes forget just how good they are, and sometimes that leads to just I guess underappreciation of the squad. And while I don my TSM jersey here, hoping for some additional impressions, shout out to Simo in the chat, by the way. So as for TSM, they to get to where they are. I mean, Velly, do you think that they're underappreciated this time, or is TSM being slept on from what you've seen?
I feel like you worded it perfectly. I mean, I was under the criticism as well. Like, we needed mutual effort from everybody on this team. And the craziest shit about that series is what was it? Cutler and Sub Rosa? Holy crap. Cutler playing out of his Cutler had so many shock dart kills. He went catwalk on Ascent, blinded and challenged a 1v2 and won it. He won a blinded fight that he purposely pushed. Plays like that is stuff that you just can't ask for out of the ordinary from any type of superstar. And then Sabrosa on his solo play, no matter what map it was, I remember he rocketed out of garage and he killed one person and then got like two other people down to like 50% health in a 1v4 off of rip off the initial fight. TSM, I think that performance all the way up to the finals was to tell everybody, you know what? Shut up. Stop saying this is Wardell's team. Just stop.
Yeah.
Because it's more than just Wardell here. Every single one of us, we can execute better than, everyone out there except 100 Thieves right now. And we witness poetry in motion from this roster. They shut us up in the biggest way possible. They said, you know what? You might doubt us, but just understand we won these championships for a reason.
TSM always has someone who is going to step up. And I think that is so important to have the ability, because I imagine if I'm playing on, I'll use Team Liquid again, since we were just talking about them. If I'm playing on Team Liquid and I see what Scream is doing, I think I have some level of faith in that. And even it's great to have faith in your teammates, but not at the trade-off of your own desire to be that guy. And I think everyone on TSM has the desire to be that guy. Has the desire to be that guy, and at any given time they can be. So I think that's TSM's greatest strength, and we've seen the same thing from Sentinels, and really all the great teams is that they have everyone on the squad is able to step up and break out of the mold of like, oh yeah, Cutler is just a support player, or Sabro's a second fiddle to Wardell. It's just not how we can perceive this squad anymore. It's a team that at any given moment can pull it out and win games. There is also, and this is not really as on the discussion chart, but I guess I'll open it up to you guys, starting with Velly. How quickly, as Energy's Kohler has just announced that he's been benched, how quickly and how various will the roster changes be headed into next week?
I'm gonna be honest. I was talking about that, I think with Vans the other day, and roster mania is gonna be nutty.
Oh
I
yeah.
think with what we saw with the Immortals matchup, the potential of Renegades and the potential there, and plus the teams that didn't even make it. I saw on Reddit something like someone saw a team, I forgot which one, where it was like two to three of the players weren't even in the scrim. They were playing a ranked game while the other core members were in a scrim
saw that,
against.
yeah.
It's insane what's
Yeah.
happening behind the scenes. I personally don't really look into that. I like to be surprised, but let's be honest, you have Cloud9 out there. You have all these disgusting, filthy teams that didn't even make it to first strike, and you question these teams belong in there. They're gonna make changes to make sure it happens next time. So I don't have too much input on roster mania, but it's gonna be unlike anything you ever saw. The 2021 roadmap is right there. We saw what's coming. You can't just wait along and hope that your team gets good. You need success now.
Do you think it's too quick, Matt, to be making these changes, or do you think that this
No.
was? Do you mean? And actually, the second part of this question: do you think some of these changes were already planned before first strike?
Oh, a lot of these changes probably were planned before first strike. You're just like kind of locked in your team for the whole
Ooh.
tournament and whatnot. Usually the team, like if you wait to make the change and let everybody else like kind of make the change, and you're not like the aggressive and like the proactive one, you usually are the team that kind of gets like left behind, so to speak, in terms of everybody takes the players that you want, and you're just kind of stuck with what's ever left, or you're in a situation where you have to force somebody to leave a team. Buyouts doesn't make that as easy. So I think you're going to see a lot of teams kind of be aggressive and loose here early on, because the next roster you have, and when you sign up for those majors, you're going to be stuck with it for a very long time. You want to make sure you get it right.
Not seeing Cloud9 here is the kind of crux of
Yeah.
this, because Cloud9 is obviously struck some sort of pay dirt behind the scenes, or has got a new funding round or something like that. I don't know.
Rumor.
We did see some valuations come out, but I don't want to get down that rabbit hole because I think it's all bullshit. But anyway, Cloud9 is looking to spend, I think, and or at least maybe they were looking to spend and chose Counter-Strike. So either they blow the team up and Tens goes back to they sell Tens for $1 bajillion, or they have to rebuild with something, and there's a lot of seats open right now, and I'm just wondering if there's enough bodies to fill them with high caliber teammates to make contenders for final championship games and that kind of thing. So Hypoc, do you believe that roster apocalypse is right around the corner, or has already started? Maybe it's already over.
I definitely think with the announcement, a lot of teams should be looking at the use of the next 2.5 months as being their best opportunity. I mean, especially in NA, it's obviously been kind of event. 2 weeks later, another event. Obviously, you guys have been kind of blessed with how many online stuff there's been going on. I guess at the highest level, with like obviously the highest teams playing. I think anybody that's kind of looking at their team and saying, I am not 110% confident we can enter 2021 schedule with the roster we've got, should be looking at the next 2.5 months to do so. I mean, look at FBX. I'm of the opinion, sorry to bring it back to EU, I'm of the opinion Meadow's an insane player, right? And I don't think, I don't think First Strike's performance would be like, oh my God, cut him. Like, I don't think that was the catalyst there. There must have been something leading up to First Strike.
Long time in the making.
Yeah, we haven't got time to address this ahead of First Strike. We're going to play it out, and then a day after the event ends, he's cut. So I think there's definitely some teams like FBX, for example, that have said 2021 schedule's out. Let's have a good think about what we want to do.
I think that, a lot of these changes were likely in the works, but I'm sure there's going to be a mad rush in these 2 months to. We're going to be seeing all sorts of leaked scrims and different things. There's going to be a lot of experimentation. I suppose, and I wonder, maybe this is where I would insert the X-Files music, DMCA. But either way, do you think that maybe the ESIC investigation suddenly wraps up now that First Strike is over?
Who knows? I don't think anybody's got a clue what's going on with that.
Even the people inside ESIC?
Yeah. I even think it's too big of a case for X-Files. I think they probably wouldn't be able to figure out what's going on.
John Walsh on the case from America's Most Wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you're just gonna see massive. Like I think it'll start like with whatever Cloud9 decides to do, right? But then I think there's also like other interesting spots, right? Like, because you look at Cloud9, it's like, okay, well, where did they poach from? Like, do they try and go after players on like FaZe or like teams that are
half
up
of
above
FaZe
them?
And half of Envy, I think.
Right.
Mix and match.
Yeah, I mean, you look at players like Corey, Baby Bay, like they probably love to have some of those, like, players like Caboose, Mame, like, but you're like, how many of those players can they get? And then like, well, where would those spots be backfilled? And then also like the random occurrences, right? Like does Sentinels make something happen? Does a team like Envy proactively make a change? Or even like TSM, which I highly doubt TSM and 100 Thieves make anything happen. But you don't know about some of those other teams in the semifinals, although I kind of doubt that as well. I think this kind of, you're really looking at teams like Cloud9 trying to take from maybe the Envy, the Renegades, the Phases, and everybody just kind of taking talent from underneath and bringing it back up.
So the big topic that we now have to cover is 100 Thieves. Now there's a lot to unpack here. Obviously they did win the whole thing, which I don't think was a upset necessarily against TSM. I think the upset comes more from Sentinels. However, 100 Thieves, this is a team that is comprised of, I would say, the most condensedly packed talent across various disciplines that Valorant has right now. Obviously, Steel and Nitro on their own have a absolutely enormous amount of Counter-Strike experience, and I don't include Hiko in that equation because his Counter-Strike experience isn't nearly as recent as that. But even then, Hiko had a storied career in Counter-Strike and has obviously been flying that Valorant flag for 100 Thieves basically since day one. And we have some footage here of them winning the thing. They have the cracked teens of Asuna and Dicey.
So good.
So it's just it's a powerhouse team, and they ended up winning. And obviously the big story here, at least for me as a guy who knows and really likes Steel as a person, he has got to be feeling really good, and he was actually receiving a lot of interviews. Here's the on-site in the back room with interns throwing confetti shot from the from the 100 Thieves compound. But I want to hear some of these interviews that Smix had with Steel because they were really illuminating. Here's him talking about how it feels to be where he is now.
I think if there were any doubters about whether or not the wins you had coming into this event in the qualifier, as you had mentioned, if there are any doubters that those were flukes, I think you're showing here and today that that was not an accident. You guys are here to stay. Personally, for yourself, Steel, I'm curious, how much does this mean to you? It's been around 6 years or so that the opportunity to perform at the large stages, it was taken away. And now you have this fresh start. You're on a team that's only been together 2 months already. You're in the grand finals now at the largest event. It's honestly glorious to see, but I'm curious, what are you feeling?
It's like a sense of validation almost. It's like everyone would just, there's always like this argument, like you're either in the pro Steel camp or the anti Steel camp, and the anti Steel camp's like, oh, he deserves it, like let him suffer, whatever. And the pro Steel camp's like, oh no, like he could be really good. I want to see him like succeed. He's learned from his mistakes, and you kind of have that kind of battle going back and forth. And I'm just like, dude, let me just have a fresh slate. Let's move on from this and start fresh. And being able to start fresh in a new game with a new team and having no restrictions basically on what events I can or can't play at, to decide which teammates I can play with, because, oh no, this org doesn't want me, or these players don't want to play with me because they're good enough. Like, being able to be free of that and just be able to put 100% into this game feels really good.
First of all, shout out to the 100 Thieves shield, for which the PUBG players died for. It just now lives under a TV. So we had that hype announcement video. Now it's just like often it's like, oh, we'll put this in storage or something.
It's just
They'll
propping
take
a
that.
door open or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the warehouse, keeping the door shut. I mean, first of all, second of all, I should say the little setup they have in there looks really nice. I would love to
It
chill in
is.
that little
The
setup.
100 Thieves compound is just insane.
Yep.
I can only imagine.
For every square inch of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But 100 Thieves is such an interesting organization. But I really do want to focus on the Valorant play. We'll start with you, Velly, again from your position on the analyst desk. What was 100 Thieves doing right?
They're the only team in Valorant that I know of that play the game that way, and still took it really personal. So, I mean, the way they attack teams was just beautiful. So you take a look at teams like TSM, take a look at teams like, even Renegades, where they use their best players to jump in there, utilize their greatest abilities in the game, like Wardell hopping, Sabrosa, his dominance with Raze, just individual prowess, right? 100 Thieves said, all right, you know what? We're going to look at the best player on your team, and we're going to game plan for every single team on how to take them out of the game. You take a look at this map right here. The battle between Still and Sabrosa said it all. Still made Sabrosa think so consciously about every step he made. And he said, you know what? If you want to push me, you're either going to die by me or you're going to get refragged immediately. And it even got to the point where they had Nitro utilize his ults with Omen to just go behind him in spawn just to throw him off his game. They kept him guessing. No other team takes it that far. You see them using synergy between different abilities between the agents in order to get into Cypher takes. And the way they abused poor Spider was just absolutely nuts. Spider is a phenomenal player. He's going to be one of the greats, but they made him look like a fool for even wanting to challenge Hookah sometimes. The way 100 Thieves play, it shows that they are the smartest team in the game. Still is the smartest IGL in the game, in my opinion now. Like, after First Strike, I am sold. And this team, they're only going to get better. Dicey and Asuna, I don't even think that we saw half of what their potential is going to be in all of Valorant. They're special, man. They made me a believer.
Doug's
Now on the
calling
roster.
Asuna the future of Valorant. And if Doug is good for one thing, it is hyperbolic statements of that nature. So I'm going to have you react to that, Matt. What do you think? What is the result of this North American bracket? Is a new king set in stone? Is this a one tournament fluke, as they've been calling it?
No, I mean, for me, and I think we've kind of talked about it on this show. We knew that this team could hit the peak of being the best team in NA. We never kind of, like, you looked at the roster and you were like, yeah, like, we'll
Not
see if they
surprised.
figure it out. To where I'm not surprised they've done it. I'm more surprised on how fast they've done it. Where I think they've really put in a lot of the time and the effort to be able to get up to speed and shape this quick. And you look at this team and how they're built. They're built to kind of withstand like a lot of different shifts in terms of like play style, meta. They have the younger players, Asuna and Dicey, who will continue to develop, get even better. This team is built and put in a great position for the long haul. Where I think you even see from Steele's interviews, like extremely motivated and just seems just genuinely like happy to be able to play at the highest level again. And he's in the situation that he's come from and where he is now, he's not going to lack the motivation to keep that going. Where I think you have to look at this team and say, yeah, they're going to be a force in North American Valorant for the foreseeable future. You can't really see anything going wrong with that.
I've always been a Steel fan, honestly. Ever since I
Yeah.
met him, long ago, in Oakland, for PUBG, a long time ago. He just is the type of guy that carries and communicates his experiences. You know what I mean? He
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
he doesn't shy away from the from the discussion. He doesn't lean out of the he says what he thinks, and he this is in response, by the way. Can we see the original tweet?
That is great.
Can we see the original? So basically, the context here is that Hayes said that the 100 Thieves win was a fluke, and obviously Hayes also says what he thinks. These guys all know each other. You know, this is not this is not banter between strangers. This is people who know each other from Counter-Strike. And Hayes is basically saying, like, why are you saying that me saying it's a fluke is BM? Like, yeah, next time we'll say, yeah, they're definitely the better team, and we won't beat them this time either. It's a loser mentality. So I love Hayes for that.
I agree.
I love the fire.
I agree.
Love the fire there. And then obviously Steele's response is, we fluked our way to being the best team in the world. Woo! So
he spelled NA wrong. That's the only.
Better than he.
Vision Strikers still out there lurking.
Vision Strikers.
They are the champions. And I also wanted to point out just how humble this 100 Thieves team is. I want to hear this thoughts on Hiko about his clutch moments.
Coming soon.
Coming soon. Any moment now.
Wait. While it's waiting, I just want to throw out this fun fact. Before the finals, Hiko had like 4 phenomenal clutches. In that finals game, I believe he had like 6 or 7 clutches.
Well, he's humble about it at the very least. At the very least.
Holy crap!
Let's hear it.
Did not believe what I was watching. What is going through your head when you pull off these magical moves?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I just as a person, I kind of thrive under high pressure, high stressed environments and situations. And, you know, I feel like the second I'm in a clutch round, I just kind of, my brain goes into super mode. And, you know, I find myself just really sitting there thinking as fast and as hard as I can. But yeah, obviously winning those clutch rounds was so big for us on Bind. I don't know if he would have won. I don't even know if he would have won Bind without a lot of the clutches we had. So yeah, it feels good to clutch. I mean, Counter-Strike, people that didn't know me from Counter-Strike, I was the OG clutch master. Just saying, you know, just saying, throwing that out there.
Always humble. Always humble.
True.
I think there was 4 other people out there on Bind, but I can't be sure because I was super focused on what I like to call super mode brain there. So that is it in a nutshell. I love the energy from this 100 Thieves team. They obviously get their first major victory, one of many to come, I'm sure. And that basically does it for the First Strike recap. So before we get Matt out of here, let's and before we wrap the show, I want to hear your favorite moments from First Strike, all regions, starting with Matt. We'll start top left.
I just love seeing the competition that I've been following all over the world at different times, just wrapping up in one kind of conclusion. It was nice to finally see like the best teams play against each other and get an actual winner for each region, as opposed to watching, I know, tons of open and groups and all of this. It was just yeah, it was just great to see the best teams play against each other in the course of a few days span, which I think with how good the competition was, really says good things about Valorant's future.
Velly?
I like the fact that the event was just way better than we all thought it would be. Let's be completely honest. You had some of the biggest names, you know, rapping and playing in here. And not only that, but you look at Twitter and everything is Valorant. Valorant is already taking over. Like I'm not talking about, oh, it had to get it. It's taking over. And it's next year. Like I give it 6 more months and we're really gonna see what Valorant's really gonna be about. I'm really happy that they're in this spot. They're lucky and they're great.
Hypoc?
For me, a heavy regional bias there, obviously. For me, just seeing kind of a taster of what it's going to be like to have Riot behind an FPS game, and the studio product that was. But again, obviously taking into consideration a couple of other regions that did have the studio production as well. But like that was everything I could have asked for and more. And even watching the other regions, you could see the same standard being set. Obviously, some places where it was remote. I mean, Velly's already explained the efforts at which they went to make it absolutely as best as it could be. That just excites me like so much. Again, Riot have always kind of been hailed as the esports kind of the esports guys. So yeah, it was fantastic to see that it actually still exceeded my expectations.
the first stage is over. I mean, First Strike was the bow on the first 6 months, we'll say, or 7-8 months of Valorant. And there's a lot more to come. Similarly, there's a lot more to come on Valoranting, but that's going to do it for us today. I want to give a huge shout out to Matt, Velly, and Hypoc for joining in, and of course all the hard work going on behind the scenes. You can watch us every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time and catch the VOD on YouTube. You can catch us here at twitch.tv/DNPeak and everywhere that podcasts are available. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. And until next time, we'll see you out there.